All right, we back. I did it again. What's going on, man? Hope all is well. Let's go back. Let's go back. Let's go back. It's my bad. What's going on? Chillville in the building says, "What's up, Noop? I'm getting excited about Bud and Porter stepping in the ring. I'm a Crawford fan, but he does not fight Porter or makes any excuses. It shows that he's ducking top welterweights. Look, man, Jake Paul is a bigger star than Terence Crawford, man. And that is a damn shame right about now, man. So I'm hoping that these boxers actually see what's going on, man, and are going to decide to really start letting it hang all out, letting it hang out in the ring, man. Let it all hang out in the boxing ring. That should be the new motto for boxing. Just let it all hang out, man. You know, if you lose your fight, you lose the fight. Let the boxing fans continue to support you after that, and you're going to be okay, man. You know what I mean? The boxing fans can get you past the loss, man. Adrian Bronner has proven that. So hopefully these cats will let it all hang out. Hopefully Terence Crawford will get in the ring with Shawn Porter. I'm optimistic that he will. But like I said, man, I'm trying to be positive about these boxers now because really, dog, I can't hardly stomach that Jake Paul stuff, man. And I'm trying to, man, you know, because shoot, this is a channel, man. I want my channel to grow. I want people to watch my videos. I want to talk about the hot topics. But when the hot topic is about somebody that is not really in boxing and it's just like pretty much a clown show, it gets real hard to do. Man, Dwayne Jones in the building. What's going on, man? Blessings to you, sir. Hope all is well with you. Hope your family's doing well. Hope all is good. Hope you ain't in New Orleans getting rained out. But I know you out there in the ATL. My man, that's my man Fannon says salute to myself, and Chillville in that super chat, man. Thank you, man. You make that channel. Thank you. Much love in that super chat, man. Thank you for supporting the channel, man. I really appreciate it. And I got to go past all you guys telling me that I ain't got no sound because I started the video and was not prepared. Just talk away. You funny. Kill just said talk away, man. All right, so that's good. So you got me back. Let me know if you guys can hear me, man. He said the facial expression when you figured out, yeah, I feel like a dumbass. Hey, man, I'm not above doing dumbassish things. I'm not above doing dumbass things, man. I do dumbass things all the time, man. I just hope that I can make it past and come back from my dumbassishness, man. I have humbled myself with my own stupidity in my life, man. Be Easy said, will this Crawford Porter really come off? Yes, it is going to come off. I got a $50 bet with Fahim Satour that this fight is coming off. I have all my psychic energy pushing towards this fight coming off, and we need this fight because this would be a real fight, a real boxing match with a real ramifications in the welterweight division, and not just some setup fight like we've been getting, man. And so, no, I'm 100%, man. Chris Jones said, why wouldn't Bud fight him? Bud ain't ducking nobody. Stop it. Look, man, I'm not the one asking the question. I put my money, Chris Jones, I want this on record. I put my money on Terence Crawford taking this fight. But if you want to ask me why people say that he may not take the fight, that's because, you know, he ain't fought nobody in welterweight yet. And people are just thinking like, man, this is too good to be true. Bud is going to pull out of this fight or find some way for this fight to not to happen. And the fact that the fight had to go to purse bid to begin with, man, like, if this fight was not mandated, it would have never came off. So, I mean, it's not like, you know, it's not like Bud has like, you know, what's going on? He who greets with fire, man, in the building. What's going on with you, sir? It's not like Terence Crawford has this overwhelming need and desire to fight Shawn Porter, man. He wasn't chopping at the bit to do the fight. So I can understand why people won't think the fight can't happen. Personally, the only way that this fight won't happen, I believe, is if you know, there's not somebody that is willing to pay enough money in the purse bid and Shawn Porter drops out of the fight. But I don't think that there's any way for Terence Crawford to get out of that fight. And I don't think Terence Crawford's scared of him. Terence Crawford believes he can beat Shawn Porter. He ain't no coward, but just, you know, Chris Jones, you heard me say it. I'm battling for Terence Crawford in this regard. But I am saying, though, at the same time, there's a lot of people that question whether or not Terence Crawford is really down or not. or whether or not he wants to take the easy way out. And, look, man, if you can make $4 or $5 million fighting guys like, what was the guy's name he was going to fight? I can't even remember who it was, but whoever he was going to fight before they ordered the fight, he was willing to fight that guy for $5 million. You put $5 million on top of $5 million on top of $5 million, that stuff starts to add up and you become a wealthy man. And that seems like what, Terence Crawford has been doing. However, I will tell you, dude, that I do believe Terence Crawford is the #1 pound for pound fighter in the world. I'm off of my Terence Crawford haterade. I'm supporting Terence Crawford again. My man Julius Stokes in that super chat said, morning from Germany, man. Thank you. Shout out there in Zapata, yeah. Shout out to Germany, man. What are you in the military? Shout out to all the soldiers out there, man. I don't know why most of the time somebody would say good morning from Germany. They're in the military. So shout out to you if you're in the military. If not, Cornelius Bright said, please do more lives, Fannon. Yeah, hey man, I'll do more lives. I like it, man. You guys really do support the lives, so I appreciate it, man. So you guys keep supporting the lives. I'll keep doing live video. I'll keep doing lives. I do them pretty much every morning. I want to be able to do them in the afternoon when there's more people available to see them. But I don't really want to step on I don't want to step on anybody's toes and make people have to watch, choose between different people to watch. So you know what it is. There goes my man Fahim Sator in the building. You got me watching what do we bet? $50? Fahim got me looking. Fahim got me looking for my $50, man. I don't like to lose money, dog. So I'm telling you, I'm up late at night thinking about that $50. That the only way that the only way this fight's not happening is if Shawn Porter pulls out. But Shawn Porter ain't got nothing to pull out too. And this would be his chance to get himself that belt. So I just can't see it happening, man. I think Shawn Porter's going to pull through and they're going to make this fight, man. And I'm telling you, we need this fight, man, because after this weekend, dude, said Shavo TV said, you're one of the best boxing channels. I hate to see other channels hating on you. I think you know who I'm talking about. Nah, honestly, dog, I've got so many cats. I don't pay attention to haters anymore, man. Really and truly, ever since I've started this channel, I've had guys just make videos about me, and I just stopped paying attention to them, man. Really, I can't do it. It's not good for my mental health. It's not good for my sense of well-being. If somebody wants to hate on me, man, you guys just gonna have to go on ahead and hate on me, because I can't engage. I can't give that type of weight to people that got negative things to say about me, man. I don't have anything negative to say about anybody. And if somebody has something negative to say about me, brother, they just got something. That's just all that's going to rest over there with them, man. And it's not a good place to be with a lot of hate in your heart. You know what I'm saying? But I appreciate you, Shavo TV, saying I'm one of the best channels out there. I try my best to talk boxing the best I can do every day. And we tend to have a little fun out here, man. So thanks, man. I appreciate you, man. Teddy G said, Fannon, respect OG. But like Toy said, since Bud came to 145, he has reigned with TR twice. So knowing that they are not going to get you fights. Oh, he has re-signed with Top Rank twice. So knowing that they're not going to get you fights, the fans wanted says you don't want the smoke, PBC smoke. Look, they need to get over that shit like yesterday, man. Like seriously, dude, that they need to get over that shit like yesterday. I hope that once they get they need to get over that shit yesterday, because we need in boxing, dude, we need to see the real fights, man. And the real fights can't take place if these promotional companies ain't working with each other and just having like an honest sit down, dog, and being like, look, let's plot out our year, plot out our fighters and try to figure out what we can do so that we can make boxing more exciting, man, because it's just an embarrassment for somebody like Jake Paul to come in and do you realize that Jake Paul is truthfully a bigger star in boxing right now than Shakur Stevenson is? As much talent and as great a product as that is, people would rather buy that hot dogs than steaks. You know what I mean? They would rather pay more money to eat a hot dog, a Jake Paul hot dog, than to eat a Shakur Stevenson steak. And that says a lot about the people that are selling the fight. It says more about the people that are selling the fight than it says about the fighters themselves, man. And I don't think anybody's to blame but the promoters and this media. You know, and I'm trying, like I said, I'm trying to keep a lot more positivity in my life, just generally speaking. So even flying off on the media, you know, I know these guys got jobs and you got to pay the bill, and they got to talk about the things that they're paid to talk about. You know, I understand that, you know, having been in the circumference of this business a little bit now, I understand, you know, and I have more sympathy towards them. But at the same time, man, you know, we got to start pushing real fighters, man. You realize that Gervonta Davis dropped his belt at 130 pounds while Chris Colbert was the number one fighter at 130 pounds for the WBA. And how sad that is that we won't get that fight, but we may get the Rolly Romero fight. You know what I mean? Like, if you have a chance to, as a true boxing fan, and most people in here are true boxing fans, who would you rather see fight? Would you rather see Gervonta Davis versus Chris Colbert, or Gervonta Davis versus Rolly Romero? If you're talking now, for me, if I'm talking about like the quality of a boxing match and really getting to see, like, you know, all-time great, like things that look like, oh, these guys could be all-time greats, I'm looking at the Chris Colbert fight, because Chris Colbert is infinitely more talented than Rolly Romero is. But more than likely, we're not going to get that, because Floyd Mayweather is going to want to do an in-house fight. He's not going to want to take a chance having Gervonta Davis getting beat, you know? Julia Stokes said the military. Yes, sir, man. Shout out to the military and much respect to the military, man. Thank you all for keeping us safe. You know what I mean? Cornelius Bryce said, just go live. Fuck it, bro. Talk that shit from now on. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'll do more lives. I might be able to pitch an evening live stream, man. Evening live streams, I ain't got as much to do in the evening, man. So I might do an evening live stream, man, to double up or whatever. But it'd have to be like at 9 o'clock or something like that towards the end of the day, man. But yeah, I appreciate you guys asking. I really do appreciate the support, man. And I do love you guys always supporting the videos and doing that stuff, man. It really does make it nice, man. I actually got invited to get on the Boxing Voice, man. I was shocked. I was like, wow, got an invite from the Boxing Voice. I feel like, you know, I'm making it, man. You know, first I had, you know, dealing with great organization like LDBC is a great organization. There's a lot of really great organizations in boxing on YouTube, man. Really, man. So I don't really want to step on people's toes, but I do like talking boxing more than an hour and a half a day. I can talk about it all day. Be Easy in the building said, Bud will not fight this with the same bravado as Spence did with Porter. Bud will not go toe-to-toe and trade with Porter. You know, that's going to be a very, very interesting fight, man. Like the way that pays off. I think Porter's going to force him to do that, because Porter can't win that fight fighting on the outside with Terence Crawford. His best chance to win against Terence Crawford is to make it a really ugly fight. And I think Shawn Porter is a stronger fighter. He's the more experienced fighter, and I pretty much think that that's what we're going to see, man, in that fight. Fahim, when you pay me my $50 to pay for that on pay-per-view. And hopefully the interesting thing is going to be see if Triller can pick up that fight. I would say that DAZN could pick it up, but DAZN is just, dog, I feel sad about DAZN. I never thought I would, dude. DAZN has got to be dead in the United States, man. They pulled out of making a bullshit Mikey Garcia fight. I don't know whether to be happy or not, but if DAZN just gets all the way out of American boxing, that forces those American fighters over to Showtime or over to Fox, and that makes better fights, man. Much better fights, man. Fahim says this fight should not have had to go to purse bid. It's just a long way to lowball Porter and save face. It shouldn't have. This is a fight that should have went straight to, man. This should be a fight that everybody's ramped up about, man. It should be much more popular fight than the Jake. Seriously, man. Seriously, I had to sit there and think about this, Fahim, because I did a video because I was like, when Jake Paul said he was the biggest fighter in boxing, like he said, yeah, do the number. I think I'm the second or third biggest fighter in boxing. I was like, it's a shame that dude is almost right. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, I'm not talking about all of the people that are bigger than him. You know, like he's not selling more tickets than Errol Spence. He's not selling more tickets than Gervonta Davis or Canelo Alvarez. But dude, he literally is, Doug. He really is bigger a bigger name in the sport of boxing than guys like Luis Ortiz, guys like, probably Keith Thurman. You know, I don't know if Keith Thurman is going to do, like, Keith Thurman's not getting a pay-per-view on Sunday night. You know what I'm saying? Against a nobody. But then again, your boy uses that stuff very, very judiciously, though. The best executive in the sport, in my opinion. And my man, Romero Harris, man, much love in that super chat. He said, I want to say it's good to see thoughtful and objective points of view. Salute to the channel and the content that you provide. I appreciate that, man. And you know what I do? I appreciate you calling me objective and not calling me a hater. That Manny Pacquiao crowd, I think I got called a hater for like every video when I was talking about Manny Pacquiao. And my only thing was, dude, I may be a hater, but I'm right. You know, you don't hate the truth. Don't hate on the truth, man. Tell the truth is what the truth is, man. And around here, dude, for the most part, you can get mad at me, but I don't miss a whole lot, dog. You know what I'm saying? If I miss, I don't miss by much. Fannon, remember Bud used to be a wrestler. Do you really think Shawn Porter could really bully him in the ring? Yes, I think he can bully him in the ring. Man, Shawn Porter, it's not like a wrestling, like you can't grab and do holds and all of that stuff. But as far as like getting into his chest and doing all that, absolutely, I think he can. The only question is, can he do it with those shifts between how well will he fight him in southpaw? You know what I mean? Fannon said, remember Bob said that this fight was going to purse bid because he wasn't paying Porter? Yeah, I think he said a couple things. He was, you know, he kind of switches, he kind of switches back and forth. You know what I mean? Like between whether he thought, Shabo TV, I'll get to that question, man. Thank you for put the questions in the comments section, man, because in this thing, we try to keep the conversation as interactive as possible. And so I love to answer your questions. But anyway, so I'm sorry. I get to that thing that my mind popped off and said, who do you think is a more live underdog, Kambosos or Usyk? I haven't seen enough of Kambosos, but I'm going to say Usyk is a better live underdog. I'm not that sold on Anthony Joshua, man. I'm not sold on Anthony Joshua, really. You know what I mean? I think that Alexander Usyk can beat him. It just depends on whether or not Alexander Usyk is going to be able to avoid that big shot. Because it seems to me that what Anthony Joshua is relying on is his size and his strength over Usyk. But dude, Usyk's not that small, man. You know what I mean? He's 6'3", he's probably a healthy 215, 220 pounds. You know, he doesn't pack a lot of power, but when he sits down on his punches, he does. You know what I mean? Yeah, he say, Fannon, you seen Wilder benching 350? Yeah, man, with his skinny ass. Yeah, I saw him put up that 350. I'm jealous. That's a strong dude, man. Gilbert Wilson said, I believe we are underestimating Terrence's power as well as Porter. So can wait for this fight. So I can't wait for this fight. We'll see how well Terence can adjust to Porter. I'm gonna edit your thing in the middle of it. See how well he can adjust to him. I've got Terence Crawford winning the fight, but it's gonna be a fight that I'm telling you, man, is gonna be a lot better than a lot of people think. And but it is a pay-per-view worthy fight, man. It's definitely a pay-per-view worthy fight. So if we get it on the cheap, I'm really appreciative of it. But I just hope that we get it, man. Either way, man. You know what I mean? Said, lesson learned, these fighters better learn to build their brands. Yeah, man, but see, here's the thing, dude. The best way to build a brand is in the boxing ring. And fighters got to have opportunities to build opportunities to do that, you know? Like when I hear build your brand, I'm always thinking like, I think, and it may not be what you're saying, but like social media is a way to build your brand, getting out there and talking to people. All those things really do help, being kind of, you know, aggressive in the way that you talk about yourself. And all of that is a way to, you know, to grow your brand and to do all that stuff. But there's no better way to grow your brand than in a boxing ring. You know, and fighting the best fights that can be made, man. And it's just so siloed right now that it's really tough to do. And you know, that move, I still go back to that Gervonta Davis move, man. I don't appreciate that at all. Him dropping out of 130 to go fight Rolly, if he's even going to fight Rolly Romero. More than likely, we're going to get a Jesus Chavez or Francisco Escobar, somebody like that, man. You know, somebody that we haven't heard of, when we really could have got a very, very good fight, man, where guys could have challenged themselves. And I think eventually, man, it's going to put a cap on. That's going to actually put a cap on Gervonta Davis's career. If he doesn't fight the best fighters, it's damn sure going to put a cap on Chris Colbert's career, because Chris Colbert will never get the chance. You know what I mean? Like, for example, Yordenis Ugas. Look what Yordenis Ugas is able to do because Yordenis Ugas lucked up and got a chance, right? With Errol Spence Jr.'s eye getting injured. Now we've got 3 legitimate dudes at the top of the welterweight division that we would want to see fight. And because Yordenis Ugas got the opportunity to fight Manny Pacquiao, something he would have never gotten if it wasn't for Errol Spence Jr. pulling out of that fight. You know what I mean? So, but now we got another combination of Yordenis Ugas versus Terence Crawford. We could run another Yordenis Ugas Shawn Porter fight, Yordenis Ugas Keith Thurman. All of these now become really good fights because Yordenis Ugas was given the opportunity in the ring to make good fights, man. Those things, that's how I think you really breed good fights, is by making fights in the ring, not now for YouTube videos. It's all fun and dandy. Like, I love when somebody's out there talking shit on it, people talking shit to each other on YouTube, because it, is a good, it's a good headline. It's a way to engage you in the title so that we can then, have the conversation, in the video and in the comment section. But the best way to really make fights and make fighters is through fights, man. And that's when boxing was doing a lot better, is when you were actually seeing these fights, man. I mean, we're not really making a lot of classic fights right now, At least that's how I take it, man. He said football players are not rougher than wrestlers. Facts. Oh no, not in the grappling and all that. But I'm talking about that's not what I was saying. I don't intend to say that wrestlers are not tough. Wrestling is very, very tough, very, very strenuous, and I would never, ever, 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 ever want to get into fight with wrestlers. But I'm just saying that you can't really count grappling in a boxing ring as wrestling. You know what I mean? And that's not really Terence Crawford's style. Terence Crawford has space. Terence Crawford uses space. He doesn't really get up, and you don't see a lot of contact between Terence Crawford and the other fighter. Terence Crawford is looking to get in, looking for open spots and looking to get in there and hit you with something big, is what Terence Crawford is looking to do. Terence Crawford is not fighting a fight like Shawn Porter, because for a while there, man, Shawn Porter was getting a reputation for being one of the dirtiest fighters in boxing. Head-butting and elbowing and just really making it an ugly fight, man. And I think that's what he's going to do in the fight with Terence Crawford. So it's your boy Al. Channel's growing so fast, my comments aren't reaching you no more. Glad though, I still support the channel. What's going on? It's your boy Al. I saw you. I read your channel. They said the comments are going, the channel's going so fast. My bad. Hey, yeah, we got people in the building. Hey, by the way, man, hit the like button, man. We got 273 people in there, only 83 likes. Let's hit the like button, man. Hit the like button so you get your notifications for the next one, man. Lewis Henry said Adrian Bronner should fight Jake Paul. I would love it. And I think he's actually going to get suckered into doing that, man. Can we see if he can actually fight? If he can actually fight, then everything is for good. Then he can be this great story where he came off of YouTube and then he literally became a world champion. But the way that he played with the media yesterday with the I retire thing, I'm sorry, dude. He's just sticking his thumb in the eye of real boxers, dude. And I know that, there were other fighters really on the card. But man, if we would make more real fights, just more real fights, we wouldn't even have a need for that, man. And honestly, man, I doubt that fight, the numbers on that fight were that good, because I can't imagine how many people are going to be paying $59 for that thing. I think more than likely they were using the pay-per-view arm of it is a way to actually act like it's, because it's a pay-per-view. That means it's all that much bigger, man. Hey, Fannon, remember Bud bullied Jeff Horn the whole fight, and Jeff Horn is bigger than him? I don't know if he beat his ass. I know that. I know he beat his ass. I know that. That wasn't even a close fight. I love that fight. He beat his ass real bad. But, Jeff Horn ain't nobody's Shawn Porter now. Jeff Horn is somebody that beat Manny Pacquiao, though. And I know y'all need to sit on that L and know he beat Manny Pacquiao and live with that. Live with that L, man. How y'all Manny Pacquiao fans doing, though? Do we got Manny Pacquiao fans in the house? I'm wondering. Or have they all gone back to the Philippines and stayed quiet, man? You know what I mean? How do you feel about this young guy, Nikita, a.k.a. White Chocolate? I've only seen highlights of him. I can't say that I've seen him. I can't say that I've really seen him really do anything, man. So, I can't really say much about it. I got to see these guys in actual fights, man. I'm not somebody that's going to get too geeked off of seeing guys fight who look good in highlight reels. You got to actually see like the grind and the grit in the fighter. You know what I mean? Because like I was saying about Manny Pacquiao, everybody thought Manny Pacquiao looked so good in the lead up to the fight and didn't really appreciate, man, that, hey, man, this dude is actually going to have to fight somebody, and it's going to be like a really gritty, grimy fight, man. Boxing is a brutal, brutal sport. So until I see him in there with somebody that is landing body shots, somebody that is coming in there and really like looking to hurt him, then I really can't say anything about him. He may be like a Mick Conlan, Mick Conlan, they were really high. Mick Conlan still ain't lost, but Top Rank saw something in Mick Conlan where they were like, let's slow this dude down a little bit because he ain't all what they say. What they all what they he ain't all what we may be thinking he is, man. Julius Stokes in the building, man. I want Thurman to get a shot at Ugas if he wins. Errol Spence Jr. coming. That fight would do numbers. Yeah, but Errol Spence Jr. is caught up on that personal stuff with Keith Thurman, unfortunately. He just has that attitude that he doesn't want to fight him because of the fact that, Keith Thurman was one of the main guys holding up Errol Spence Jr.'s career. And I can appreciate that, man. Oh, I would love it. I would love it, man. Got him OB said, Fannon, what do you think about a welterweight tournament like that Super 6? I would love it. I love all those tournaments, man. I love all of those tournaments. Any of those tournaments that you can have where you got the best fighters in them, would love it. But, I'm not sure how realistic it is for those things to happen, man. But of all the weight classes, though, really, we've gotten a lot of fights out of 147 pounds. Like 147 pounds is pretty much like the standard of actually having fights made. You know what I mean? Like, don't take it lightly, the fact that we got a Yordenis Ugas Manny Pacquiao fight. Like, it didn't do, that's a big fight. Like, that is a totally unexpected fight, right? We got Errol Spence Jr., Danny Garcia. We got Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia. We got we had a whole bunch of fights at the 147-pound division, man. A lot of them that I really can't complain about. You know what I mean? As far as that goes, the only problem, with 147 is that we haven't really had, we didn't get the Errol Spence Jr. Terence Crawford fight because Terence Crawford is over at Top Rank. But, other than that, man, shoot, I really like it, man. I think it's been it's really been a good look. 147 has been a good look. The shit show is lightweight. Lightweight is a bunch of bullshit. Like, just no joke about it. It's the bullshit division. They're bullshitting more. They do more talking and less fighting in the lightweight division than in any other division in boxing. More bullshit, less fighting than anybody in boxing. The only two people in that lightweight division to actually fight each other are Teofimo Lopez and Vasily Lomachenko. Other than that, lightweight has been complete and utter bullshit. A bunch of secondary fights and a bunch of cats claiming that they're the champ. Southpaw Killer in the building. Thank you so much for holding down the channel, man. That means a lot. Say, Fannon, what's going to be your excuse when Bud defeats Porter? Better than Errol? And how far are you and your guys going to push the bar back? And will you give Bud full credit and stop the Bud bashing? I will stop the Bud bashing. Yes. What's my excuse going to be when I don't? I'm predicting him to win. I'm telling you, I know. Look, let me tell you, man. This is the Bud Crawford and the Bud Crawford Cats. I know you guys watch the channel. Look, man, I love Bud as a fighter, but he says shit, okay? And I can't help. I'm sorry. I talk boxing every day, and Bud just says shit that sets me off. You know, if he didn't say the shit he said, then I wouldn't have any reason getting on him. Okay. However, I'm not stupid. I know Terence Crawford can fight. I believe Terence Crawford will beat Bud. I put money on Terence Crawford taking the fight against Fahim Sator. Okay. But let's go. I'll make sure I go through it. That's not going to be an excuse because right now I'm telling you, I got it like 55-45 or 52-48. I got to be in a close fight, but I got Bud winning. And if he beats him better than Errol, it doesn't matter. It's for me, it's styles make fights. It doesn't make a difference. Errol's not going to fight Bud. It's not, that's apples and oranges to me. And are you guys going to push, how far am I going to push the button? No further. No further. I'm going to keep my word. If your boy takes this fight and wins this fight, he is a top welterweight. I have nothing to say because Shawn Porter is a top welterweight, and anybody that beats Shawn Porter, you know, is a very, very good fighter, dude. All right, period. And I will put it in the video. I'll do whatever is necessary to do it. But at the same time, dog, look, you can't get mad at me. You can't get mad at me for what I see in the news, from what I hear Bud say. When Bud said he did not care about fighting Errol Spence Jr., what can I do with that, man? I mean, seriously, what can I do with that? I have to say that's bullshit because that's bullshit. You do need to fight Errol Spence Jr., man. It's just, I don't get why he would say that. He should be, in my opinion, he'd be like, yeah, I want to fight Errol Spence Jr. I'm going to do what I got to do to make sure I can get Errol Spence Jr. and prove that I'm better than Errol Spence. That's just, it's easy money thing to say for Bud. But there's something in Bud's mouthpiece that wouldn't let him do it. So what could I do? I mean, I definitely am an Errol Spence Jr. fan, and I was a Terence Crawford fan at 140. So I didn't have a problem with him doing what he did at 140. I have no problems saying that he's a number one pound for. I don't even have a problem saying to me he's the number one pound for pound fighter in the world. Okay. I know when I said that he wasn't, that I was being petty. I'll admit it. That was me being petty because he said he didn't want to fight Errol Spence Jr. And he started saying stuff about, you know, he wanted 70-30 and all of that. You know, it was just too much. It was just too much. But I'm not going to move the bar at all on Bud if Bud takes that fight. And I gave you an extra long answer, Southpaw Killer, because I want it on record. If Bud fights Shawn Porter and I don't care how he beats him. He can barely beat him. He could blow him out. It doesn't make a difference. If he beats him, Terence Crawford is the man. He's the man. You know what I mean? And if he beats him better, that just tells me, okay, all right, man, maybe he'll beat Errol Spence. I got him losing to Errol Spence, though, because of the style of the fight, not necessarily because of who beats who. You know what I mean? But hey, man, much love in that super chat. And you know, dog, look, man, when the time is tough and just remember this, Team Bud. When the times are tough on Bud and people are on him, we're on him. I was on Bud's side when people were on him. Okay. But when Bud just started talking a little bit sideways about Errol Spence and whether or not who was the bigger star and him not needing him and all that, come on, dog. There's nothing I could do with that, man. There's nothing I could do with it. So I pretty much had to be like, nah, Bud is on some bullshit. But when Bud ain't on no bullshit, then I'll be like, Bud's not on some bullshit. And when Bud is not on bullshit, is in the ring. You've never heard me tell you that Bud can't fight and that Bud is going to get blown out by somebody. I think Bud beats Ugas. Matter of fact, I think Bud beats Ugas easy. I think he beats Ugas easy. I think he beats Keith Thurman. I think he beats Shawn Porter. I think he beats all of those guys. The only person that I got a problem with him beating is Errol Spence Jr. because of Errol Spence Jr.'s style and all of that, and the fact that he is just keeps so much pressure straight down the middle, and he doesn't really give you a lot of time to think. And Terence Crawford likes to size people up, man. So, you know, hey, dude, I want to get on people's good side, man. You know what I mean? I want to get on Bud's good side. I like Bud as a fighter a lot, man. Fahim Sator said, Fannon's Fantasy Fight League is the only place that Bud versus Porter is going to happen. I got my fantasy fight league on Instagram, but I stopped doing it as much because you guys didn't support my fantasy fights. So I had to go with the regular. I had to go with a different type of content over on Instagram that was, easier to do and lower on the production value. But man, you know who my fantasy fight is though? Seriously, the fight that I really want to see for Bud. I really want to see Bud versus Jermell Charlo. If nothing else, I want to see Bud versus Jermell Charlo for the press conferences and just to see those two dudes talk shit to each other. Because I'm telling you, man, Jermell Charlo is still one of the most underrated fighters in all of boxing, man. Hey, we got 300 people in the building, 330 people in the building, man. Hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button. We only got 140 likes, man. Do your boy Fannon right, man. Frequent Flyer RC said Crawford won't beat Porter better than Errol because Errol made a statement by fighting Shawn with the brawling style that Porter likes. Bud won't. See, I am okay with that, but at the same time, give Frequent Flyer RC in the building. Thank you so much for that love, man. And holding down that super chat, man. And when you guys give super chats, I'm telling you, I really, really do appreciate it. It really does go to supporting the Instagram channel. It really does go to supporting the things that we're doing to try to market fighters and stuff and do stuff like that, on the channel. So when you guys do it, trust me, man, I really, really, really appreciate it. And it's encouraged. So thank you very, very much. Man, I lost my chain of thought, man. I love this conversation this morning. Damn. Oh yeah. I want to see Jermell Charlo versus Terence Crawford, man. And I think after seeing Jermell Charlo fight Castano, I think that Terence Crawford has a better chance to win that fight than I thought previously. But I would love it just for all of the drama that would go on during the fight, man. All these nice fighters do just irritate me. And that's one thing that I think that these fighters should get from Jake Paul. Will y'all talk some more shit? I mean, really, will you talk more shit? Dude, if we can't get the fights, at least we can get the shit talk, okay? Don't sit up there Danny's Ugas got on my nerves with that shit. Like, yes, I just want to say how much I like you and I appreciate you. And, it's just, yeah, no, dude, you guys are going to beat each other up, man. Will you talk like you getting into a fight? I don't want it all of this hand holding and nice shit. I want to see a fight. You know what I mean? I want to see a skilled fight. But at the same time, dude, I actually want to see a fight. And I want to feel like the two guys that are fighting each other really want to beat each other up. If you're not selling me the idea that you want to beat the guy up, then what am I watching you fight for? You know what I'm saying? Cut that shit out with all the nice professionalism. Boxing is a barbaric sport, man, and you're trying to beat the shit out of the dude. Tell the truth, man. Stop trying to put on suit and ties and act like you're this businessman. You are a businessman, but you're in the business of fighting people, man. So, you know what I mean? I just don't like it, but I know other people like that, all that nice stuff. I want to see cats that are willing to get on people like Bud. Bud's got a great attitude when he's fighting. His attitude with Jose Benavidez, his attitude with whoever he's fighting is, dude, I'm about to beat your ass. That is his attitude. It's nothing that's nice about it. I even like when Errol Spence Jr. got that way versus Shawn Porter, man. He was very look, man, I'm not playing with you. I'm knocking you out. I'm trying to hurt you. And that made that fight and then he came in there to try to do it. That's what really adds a lot of value to boxing matches, man. And you get that from that Jake Paul. I'm so glad we ain't talking about Jake Paul. Crush the Legend say you forget that AJ said he was going to fight Porter with this style. Yeah, he said he did say he was going to do that. He said that he was coming to knock him out. And he came in there trying to do it, man. And he finally did wind up clipping him. But hey, that just tells you, man, that dude is that's a tough mentality on that kid, man. Chillville said, exactly. This is why the numbers are low in boxing. This is why MMA is catching up to boxing. Hey, yeah, in a lot of just nonsense fights, man. If you make better fights, I think all that stuff is going. I think MMA is falling off a little bit, though, from my impression, man. MMA doesn't seem like it's as big a deal as it was when they had Conor McGregor. But I think all of that stuff, there's ebbs and flows. I think just particularly this year, was kind of a bad year for boxing. In the last couple months has been a bad year, has been kind of rough on seeing good fights, man. It's like not everything has to be a gigantic pay-per-view show, but to get some of the better fighters just to fight more often, you know what I mean? Big Demon, he was talking about Hall of Fame. He don't need EJ to make it to the Hall of Fame is what he's saying, because he's already a 3-division champion, undisputed. So he's going to the Hall of Fame. Yeah, man, but so what? My thing is, so what? When you're in the Hall of Fame, you're done. As a fighter, man, you're not telling me something that I need when you say you're going to the Hall of Fame. That shit don't make any difference to me. You know what I mean? Only thing that I care about, dude, is that you're going to fight somebody. The only thing that I care about is who you're going to fight. It doesn't make a difference to me whether you're going to the Hall of Fame. It doesn't make a difference to me how much money you're going to make in your fight. It doesn't make a difference how many cars you got in your parking lot. It doesn't make a difference to me, man. I want to see really good, entertaining fights. You know what I'm saying? Like, honestly, I did a video the other day when I was talking about how much the numbers on Manny Pacquiao, the pay-per-view numbers, and I took the video down because I was like, you know what, man? I really don't care, you know what I mean, about what the numbers did, what the numbers on that fight did. And I don't want to discourage people, from making fights that don't do fantastic numbers. All that numbers talk and all that stuff is stuff that promoters do to try to promote how great the job the promoters are doing. That's what the promoters care about. But the fighters should care about, a great atmosphere for a fight. You know what I mean? A great atmosphere for a fight and us being able to see the fights that we want to see. You know what I mean? All that other shit is like, I'll talk about it, but really and truly, who cares? Hey, man, we got 334 people in the building, and can we get the likes over 200, man? About 50 of y'all hit the like button, okay? Because you're sitting there chilling. Hit the like button, bud, okay? Hit Bud Crawford, hit that like button, okay? Bernie, hit the like button. That shit is funny to me, man. Somebody said, I'm sorry to people hating on you. You know who I'm talking about. And I'm telling you, man, no, I do not. I do not pay attention to them dudes no more, man. I watch maybe a few channels just to see what people are talking about. Other than that, dude, I try to stay away from cats that try to hang on my name all day. Like, just why the fuck you trying to tear at me all the damn time? You know what I mean? I'm talking about boxing. You're talking about boxing. Why don't you just talk about boxing and leave me alone? You know what I mean? If you don't like the channel, just don't deal with the channel. That's easy. If I don't like your work, I'm not watching any MMA channels. You know what I mean? Man, Mr. 76 coming through like a demon, man. Thank you. He said, honestly, I think Porter upsets and exposes Crawford. Shawn is too experienced, physical and athletic for Bud to have one of his mismatched technically sound victories. No way around it. He will have to fight Porter like EJ did. Yeah, I do believe I will. Mr. 76, man, again, man, thank you for coming into the super chat so heavy. And thank you to everybody that supports the channel through the super chats. It really does tell you, it helps the channel a lot. And it is not to be understated, man. So thank you guys very, very much. I truly, truly appreciate it. Look, that is going to be a fight. Terence Crawford is going to have to fight him, and it's not a one-sided fight. But and that's the only worry that I have for Terence Crawford is that Terence Crawford hasn't fought at that competition level ever. Really, I don't think any of the fighters that Terence Crawford has fought before are at the experience level of Shawn Porter or necessarily bring to the table what Shawn Porter brings. But I will tell you one thing that is something that Terence Crawford can rest his hat on, and that is that Terence Crawford is that Shawn Porter is just not that powerful a fighter. He's really not overwhelmingly powerful. He's not somebody that is just going to really knock you down, and hurt you. You know what I'm saying? So he has the ability to get in there and really, let it. I think he can let it fly a little bit more against Shawn Porter than he could, say, somebody like a Keith Thurman, who, if he catches you, really can't hurt you. I don't remember the last time I've seen Shawn Porter knock somebody out. Man, but much love in that super chat. Artabo said, Fannon, that was you guys' PR department speaking for him. Cuban fighters don't get down like that. read this aloud. I did it. He said Cuban fighters will talk that shit. Yeah, the PR department, your PR department needs to go to hell. Telling people not to talk shit, man. You need to talk shit. That sells fights. Shit talking is age-old, sells fights, man. Get into people's face, say what you got to say, man. You know, trying to be the gentleman all the time, like, that's bullshit. You guys are in a fight, so why don't you act like you about to fight? You know what I'm saying? You got to fight. Man, let me ask for some likes. Fahim Sator is shooting on that fight, man. Yes, sir. Thank you, man, for the 50 people that hit that like, man. Got that bet. Now, can y'all get the likes over 300? That would be terrific, man. Absolutely terrific, man. So ask me some questions about this stuff, man. I'm telling you, this is a big fight, man. You don't get better fight in Green Machine and a Wash Brook. No, you don't. That is underwhelming competition, man. But I don't know, man, because I think that I'll put it this way, not at the stage of the career that not at this stage of his career. You know what I mean? Not at this stage of his career. At this stage of his career, he needs to be fighting the best and getting out of there with it, you know? But the fact is, I mean, Terence, he's not going to be able to avoid it. I don't think he's going to be able to avoid it for long. You know, I don't, because he's either going to fight Josh Taylor and get set up. Like, that's the fight that I'm telling you, dude. Josh Taylor is a setup fight for him. Like, Josh Taylor is to Terence Crawford what Jeff Horn was to Manny Pacquiao. Watch what I say. I'm telling you. If Terence Crawford resigns with Top Rank, which I think he will do. I'm telling you, I think he will do that. If he re-signs with him and he fights Josh Taylor, he's going to wind up losing to Josh Taylor. I promise you. Josh Taylor will fight a safe fight. And Josh Taylor is probably a little bit bigger than him. I think Josh Taylor may be a little bit bigger than Terence Crawford, because Josh Taylor ain't got no business at 140. That's a huge 140 pounder that is dropping his weight down. Now, I believe Terence Crawford is the better fighter and should win the fight. But if he goes over to Glasgow, where is it in Scotland? If he goes over to Scotland and fights him over there in Scotland, I'm telling you, that is a bad look. That is a really, really bad look for Terence Crawford, because he's going to need a knockout to win for sure. And Jose Benavidez almost got through a fight with Bud, and I don't think Jose Benavidez is as good a fight as Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor is actually a very, very solid fighter, who, by the way, has fought tough competition. He didn't come through. Now, Josh Taylor didn't come through 140 pounds fighting nobody. He beat Regis Prograis, who was a legit, and got through that World Series of Boxing. He fought, who did he beat? Kylie Relic. I think he originally might have beat Kylie Relic, but then when he beat Regis Prograis, and then he beat Jose Ramirez, I'm telling you, man, Josh Taylor is a legitimate fighter, man. And if Terence Crawford resigns, he's resigning to fight Josh Taylor. And I'm telling you, man, that is a robbery waiting to happen, dog. Without a doubt, man. DJ Air Alert in the building said, would you like to see Gervonta versus Lomachenko? I would love to see it. I would throw a party if that fight was made. Throw a party. Let me tell you something, man. The lightweight division has more bullshitters in that division than in any other division. They're all doing a lot of talking. Ain't none of them serious about doing any fighting with each other. Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, Teofimo Lopez, Rolly Romero, Gervonta Davis. None of them dudes have touched each other. And all of them are calling themselves champions, and none of them have any plan on fighting each other, except for Devin Haney, who keeps saying that he wants to fight everybody. And I do believe Devin Haney does want to fight everybody. But Devin Haney's in a situation, in my opinion, similar to Terence Crawford. Dude, if you're going to want to fight those dudes, you're going to have to get away from the zone, man. He's going to have to get away from the zone, get away from Eddie Hearn, because Eddie Hearn ain't got any of those guys, man. And on top of it, I don't think DAZN is going to be around for U.S. boxing, man. They're not putting the money behind U.S. boxing because U.S. citizenry is not supporting DAZN. That was an experiment that Eddie Hearn ran on the back of Anthony Joshua. And even now with Canelo Alvarez not fighting over there, Canelo Alvarez was hit or miss with them. So they're pulling their money out of the United States and they're going back to airing that stuff over there in Europe where they can be successful. Because I'm sure in Europe, and over there in the UK, and by the way, they did another price jump over there in Europe. DAZN is a sham. And it has been a sham, dude. I don't know how much money I paid for DAZN and got a couple decent fights out of that thing. But Devin Haney, in my opinion, needs to go to the PBC. Just like whatever the issue is, go over there to Al Heyman and fight with Al Heyman so that you can get some of these fights and be in a better position to fight Gervonta Davis, man, or somebody. But and I like Devin Haney, man. I don't want to make it seem like I don't like Devin Haney, dude. I think Devin Haney's a very, very good fighter, and I think Devin Haney has the ability to beat any of those guys at lightweight, man. Now he's kind of, to me, what Christopher Schaefer in the building. Much love in that super chat, man. He said, salute Martin. I've been saying the same thing about Taylor Crawford fight. Crawford don't even have to resign with Top Rank. All Taylor has to do is move up. WBO makes him the immediate mandatory. Yeah, but he wouldn't be a mandatory for Christopher for another year if he takes this mandatory right now if he takes it now with Shawn Porter. And so, but more than likely, dude, that's what's going to happen. He's going to get that Josh Taylor fight because they're going to offer him a lot of money for a pay-per-view fight over there in the UK. There might be more money. There might be. Say you got Devin fucked up. Well, I don't know, dude. How do I got Devin fucked up? I get a lot of stuff for being a Devin Haney hater. I'm not, dude. I'm just being real with it. Devin Haney does have the ability to beat those guys. Devin Haney, look, there's no guy in the lightweight division that I say can just beat Devin Haney where I know for sure he can just beat Devin Haney. Devin Haney got his chin tested against Linares, and that was a legitimate, but he won the fight. But he won the fight. I think that Devin Haney beats Ryan Garcia. I think that he has the ability to beat Teofimo Lopez. I think he's got the ability to beat Lomachenko. The only question that I have, and I'm sorry, Christopher Schaefer in that super chat. Much love and thank you so much for the support, because when you guys support in the super chat, really it does make the channel float. So thank you guys very, very, very much, man. It's rough in this pandemic times, man. So I really do appreciate you guys when you support the channel, man. Thank you, man. It really does help a lot, man. Said, I like DAZN. You can pause your subscription. Yeah, man, but I'm going to pause it, and then you unpause it, and you pay $20 for one fight. You know what I mean? Devin Haney is a free agent. Yeah, but he's a free agent that is still fighting with DAZN. I mean, I don't know where you can really be a free agent outside of one of those networks. You know what I mean? The free agent in that regard is a free agent as far as a promoter. So maybe he can hop, but I don't know, man. I don't know if Devin Haney really has the muscle and the following behind him to really be able to be a free agent like that. You know what I mean? Like, there's very few fighters like Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez can be a free agent because everybody's going to bid on him. When you don't have that big name and you don't have the big crowds behind you, I don't know how effective it is to be a free agent. I've been hard on. Said Fannon, Devin Haney is a free agent. Yeah, I know that, but I still hear Eddie Hearn talking about who he would match him up with. And is he a free agent? But if he's a free agent, I don't know, man. I just don't think that's a good position for Devin Haney business-wise to be in right now. To be a free agent when nobody's demanding to fight you. You know what I'm saying? I mean, when somebody's a prospect, it is good to be signed because you're guaranteed to get those fights. I think him being a full free agent might be jumping the gun a little bit. You know what I'm saying? He's doing a great job of selling himself. You know what I mean? He's doing a great job of selling himself, and I support him 100%. But I would rather see him sign with like I'd rather see him, honestly, man, I'd rather see him sign the fight with the PBC, because at least then you may be able to get a fight with him and, other really good fighters that can help him. Like, maybe, what's the guy's name? I was going to say an old school fighter, the Bailey's Hurtados. I ain't thinking of him. What's the name of the Cuban fighter that's got all that hair all over the place that looks like one of those, what's that dude's name, man? God, dog. I hate that I'm messing his name. The Bailey's, he's the Cuban that works in the corner of Yordanis Ugas, who's got a brother that fights. I want to say the Bailey's Hurtados or something like that, but I'm just killing his name, man. But a guy like that, one of those lightweights, or even like a Robert Easter Jr. Make sure you guys can hear me, man. I don't think I put that on mute, did I? Okay, cool. Yeah. Oh, Ramses Bartholomew. Yeah, that's who I'm thinking. I'm thinking about like a Ramses. Have him fight like a Ramses Bartholomew. Somebody like that, dude, that is a really, really good fighter that doesn't pack a lot of punches, that'll really give him a chance, to practice his craft and to build himself up, man. But, maybe that's just me being a little bit more old school, than other people, man. It just seems like the guys at lightweight just want to jump to superstardom. It's like Teofimo Lopez just jumped to superstardom, right? Like, I'm a superstar. Riley Romero, I'm a superstar. Gervonta Davis is the only one there that can really claim that he's a star, because he's selling out arenas and he's doing, but even he is not necessarily at the level of an Errol Spence Jr. You know what I mean? He's as big as it gets at lightweight. But, honestly, man, these guys are making me miss Lomachenko a little bit. Oh, I know but Rolly Romero acts like he's a star with his sunglasses and his belt and the belt on. He's trying to sell that I've made it, fake it till you make it move, man. And it's like, that's what the whole division is. It's a bunch of fake it till you make it. And not saying that they're not good fighters. I know that they're good fighters, definitely support them and, and want well for them. But, come on, man, like, fight each other. And then you'll know what the deal is. Roy H said, I'm still trying to see Tank versus Gary Russell. That fight should have happened. Too many black folks would show up and show out for that, though. I definitely have a party for that, though. Yeah, but you know how it is. I don't think Gervonta Davis can beat him. So that's not going to happen. And when is the last time Gervonta Davis fought a black fighter? Seriously. When is the last time he fought a black fighter? I don't think the black fighters are in a run-in to fight him. So, it's just like whatever, really, to tell you the truth, until they have one, I believe Gervonta Davis is going to fight a black fighter when he fights him. Until then, what I think is going to go on is a bunch of setup knockout fights, and until, and that's it. And you're just going to see rinse and repeat, man, because that's what Mayweather Promotion wants to do. They want that in-house fight. They want to protect their named fighter. It's like he's already in made it mode, and he's one of the most gifted fighters in boxing, and I think he's got the ability to beat all those guys, but they're matchmaking him to death, man. They're just matchmaking. The matchmakers are doing too good a job, or not doing good enough a job, because they're not giving anybody any fights. Like, when's the last time you saw a Gervonta Davis fight where you thought the guy might lose? Similar situation to Terence Crawford. Like, when you're matchmaking the fighters, you should at least still have somebody should at least think, oh, there's a chance that this guy could lose. Like, going into the Errol Spence Jr. fight with Manny Pacquiao, there were actually people that thought Errol Spence Jr. could lose that fight. So it created a real drama around the fight. But if there's never any drama around the fight, how do you ever really expect to grow? You know what I mean? And expect to have people become more interested in seeing you fight in the future when you never overcome any barriers. It's like they don't have any barriers that they're overcoming, right? They have titles that they've won, but those titles aren't real barriers. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's not like you like, okay, if Gervonta Davis beats Teofimo Lopez, then he's going to get the Lomachenko fight, right? Or vice versa. It's okay, well, who's he going to fight next? Well, we know who he's going to fight next. Who we know he's going to fight next is going to be It's going to be a flat-footed fighter with a Spanish last name, and that is going to be it. And the fight is more than likely going to be a knockout, and his numbers are going to be a little bit better than they were the last time, and that's it. And then we're going to talk about how big a star he is based on selling you the numbers that he's had, how many sellouts he's had. They're like selling the analytics all the time. And honestly, man, I'm not interested in the analytics. I'm interested in the quality of the fights that are taking place. You know what I'm saying? It's like we're stuck in like this ESPN mode where everything is about the numbers, right? So like when people say boxing is a business, then they're pretty much what they're saying is everything in boxing is reduced to numbers. And so let me see what the numbers are, right? Jake Paul said that. It's like, yeah, I'm the second, third biggest fighter in boxing. Let's see the numbers. Like, what do you mean, let's see the numbers? Dude, you're not the 1,000th best fighter. You know what I'm saying? You're not the 1,000th best fighter in boxing. How can you be the biggest in boxing and you're not even in the top 1,000 boxers? But he's the but I guess what he's saying is he's the number one cruiserweight in boxing when he's yet to fight anybody in his own weight class. You know what I mean? Or really fight somebody that's a professional boxer just because they're going by the numbers, man. And that is, I'm telling you, that is a direct correlation to the way that boxers have been promoted over since Floyd Mayweather Jr. Because Floyd Mayweather Jr. is all about the numbers and how many pay-per-view I did and how much money that I made, and not selling the actual quality of the fight, but selling, how much the numbers. Like, he's a greater fighter than Muhammad Ali because his fights sold more tickets. No, that's not the case. I mean, Jack Dempsey probably sold more tickets than Joe Louis. That doesn't mean Jack Dempsey was a better fighter than Joe Louis because he sold more tickets. That means there were more people interested in watching him. That's what that means. And honestly, I doubt very much that there are more people interested in watching Floyd Mayweather than Muhammad Ali. You're talking about a dollar for dollar. You're not talking about a dollar for dollar comparison, But anyway, hey, look, man, we got almost 400 people in the building. Can we get the likes over 300? It would be greatly appreciated, man. About another 50 of y'all, go ahead and hit that like button, man. Roy H said, if Tank fights at 135 next, I think it's JoJo Diaz. I think that's why he turned down the Haney mandatory, because he's got a call from Floyd. I could be wrong, though. I mean, JoJo Diaz fits. But if he if JoJo Diaz, if he beats JoJo Diaz, so what? I'm not going to get over JoJo Diaz having lost to Gary Russell Jr., man. I'm not going to get over the fact that he lost to Gary Russell Jr. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, it's a so what to me, because JoJo Diaz proved that he wasn't the best at 126. Now, to fighting guys at 135, he's just going to beat up JoJo Diaz. JoJo Diaz is a gatekeeper. So I don't care, man, really, Andrew Gay said Devin Haney is the nit. What is that? I don't know what nit means. Jose Rodriguez said, you're preaching today, amen. I mean, that's pretty much what it is, man. They're trying to sell us the idea of numbers. Numbers. If I can show you a number that's big, that means that fight was better. And it's not true. That's what Eddie Hearn was trying to do with all that Deontay Wilder stuff and Anthony Joshua. We're the fastest to pre-sell records. Like, your fastest pre-sell records? Like, what? It's not a good fight, though. You know what I'm saying? It's not a good fight. The fight that we want to see is Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder. After you get Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder settled, then we can hear what the numbers are I don't really even care about the numbers. It's just a way to distract, man, and claim success where there was no success. And I'm telling you, and Matchroom's suffering for it because they don't have, dude. That whole DAZN thing they cannot consider that thing having been a success, man. Look, if we don't buy pay-per-view, they don't have the numbers. Look, man, a lot of people aren't buying the pay-per-views, but I think pay-per-views are used in a different way, though. Like, pay-per-views can be used to offset the budget of a fight. Just used to offset the budget of the fight. Say they put it up say the network doesn't want to spend a lot of money on the fight. and they want to set their budget, and they're like, okay, we guarantee this amount of money for the fight, right? But if you put it on pay-per-view, there's administrative costs around putting it on pay-per-view, but pretty much you're making the fight a gamble for the fighters who have it on pay-per-view. You know what I mean? You can offer a smaller guarantee up front and with a larger return on the back end if they take a chance on pay-per-view. So just because it's on pay-per-view doesn't mean that means it's going to be this gigantic fight, man. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean it's going to be a gigantic fight. It could just be a way to offset the cost on the network. That's what I see when I see it, or the way that I would use it if I was them. You know what I mean? I can't, honestly, in this stream, I can't even see the haters, man. Hey, man, we got 378 people in the building, 279 likes. Yeah, we got the likes over 300, man. Appreciate it. And subscribe to the channel if you don't mind, man. He said, ignore the trolls. They don't know boxing. Yeah, I get a lot of trolls, but it is what it is. It ain't that big a deal, man. I ain't really tripping too much on trolls. Cause when I'm on StreamYard, I really can't see them. You know what I mean? John Meefield says, just in pay-per-view, he's not a real boxing. Yeah, but I doubt that pay-per-view did real numbers, man. I would be really shocked if that pay-per-view did big numbers. Because I couldn't stomach paying for it. And I'll be guilted into it, but I couldn't even be guilted into watching that. Like, I mean, I wanted to support Amanda Serrano and all of that stuff, but it was about nothing. I mean, at the end of the day, that fight was really about nothing. It wasn't for any real status, like knowing who the best fighter is. It's an event, man. You know what I'm saying? And they had Dave Chappelle there to watch it, but they gave away free tickets for it. I don't know, man. You know, did you Manny numbers on pay-per-view yet? It's like 250,000 is what they say. That he did somewhere around 250,000 pay-per-views. That was worth it, man. That was a good fight because I knew he was gonna lose. So for me, I wasn't about to sit there and miss watching Manny Pacquiao lose after all these Manny Pacquiao fans talked all that crap to me. Because, you know, you guys can say what you want, dog, but y'all didn't know boxing if you thought that was some easy fight, man. Joe Biden's Bernie said, Fannon, you be getting on too early. Yeah, I know people tell me that a lot, that my live stream's too early, but you know, it is what it is, man. You got to do it when you can fit it in, you got to do it when you can fit it in, man. I might try to move it to the evening, but that would be such a big shift in my day to do it in the evening. I used to do it at 12, man. You used to do it at 12:30, but you know, it is what it is, man. We get a good crowd. You can watch it. You can watch it later in the afternoon. Frequent Flyers RC said, Fannon, Porter don't get knockouts because he never fights bums. That ain't no lie. That ain't no lie. What do you got against Pac? I don't have anything against Pac. I just got unrealistic expectations. Like, seriously, man, you guys go over. Manny Pacquiao fans just go too far with Manny Pacquiao. Like, Manny Pacquiao is 42 years old, man. Stop it. You know what I mean? Stop it with the he's greater than everybody that has ever fought Stop it with the abuse of other fighters just because he's fighting Manny Pacquiao. I mean, Manny Pacquiao's personality is one way, but his rabid fan base is I'm sorry, man. You just disrespectful people that insult people every time you got something to say, man. You know, and that's just what it is, man. So I don't have anything against Manny Pacquiao. I just get a little bit tired of being abused, of having his fans trying to abuse me for no good reason, because all I'm doing is telling the truth. Look, I knew there was no way he was going to beat Errol Spence Jr., and he wasn't going to beat Manny Pacquiao, and he wasn't going to beat Yordenis Ugas. And quite honestly, dog, he was listening. Southern Paul, that's why he said, man, 382 people, you still doing good numbers in my Leonard Ellerby voice, and it's early. Thank you, man. I appreciate you, man. Yeah, we do good numbers early in the morning. We appreciate it, man. When the topics are good, you know, and people really want to talk boxing. This channel really is about talking boxing, man. So I appreciate when you guys come and do that, man. Air Alert said, how often do you think a boxer should fight a year? I would love 3 fights a year, man. If we could get 3 fights a year, I think 3 fights a year would be excellent. And do I think we'll see Crawford Spence? Yes, I do. I absolutely do believe there's too much money on that fight. Too much money on that fight. And the only issue is, yeah, I think we'll get to see that fight. I'm optimistic about that fight because it's one of the biggest fights in boxing, and it's a fight that you can make a lot of money on. So all of this, can I make money on the fight? I mean, understand that boxers, they got to be able to make money on the fights, man. But you can't tell me that you're not losing a bunch of money on these fights where these guys are fighting people that we don't care about. You know what I mean? So I do believe we'll get to see that fight. I believe we'll get to see that fight after Errol Spence Jr. fights Yordenis Ugas and Terence Crawford beats Shawn Porter. I think that's when you'll get to see that fight because I don't see Yordenis Ugas beating him. You know what I mean? Midwest Boxing, man, supporting the channel. Thank you for everybody that supports in that super chat. Jake Paul fights 20 more times. They'll say he's the best fighter ever. I'm disappointed in all the channels not fighting for guys his size. I'm disappointed in some of the channels for not fighting guys his size as pros. Look, man, that's not even a real... Oh, shit. You guys are basic mental... Man, I'm not going to... I'm keeping it peaceful. Oh, my God. I'm a turncoat. Let me get to this first. Jake Paul fight 20 more times. They'll say he's the best fighter ever. I'm disappointed in some of the channels for not fighting guys his size and pros. Yeah, I mean, dude, everybody knows this Jake Paul shit is bullshit. Everybody knows it. Everybody that's covering it is covering it for numbers. Everybody's doing it because it's a show and because there's money to be made in the show. That's all this is. It's a way to make money. It's a way for Jake Paul to make money. It's a way for the fighters on the undercard to make money. It's a way for them to get some. It's a way for them to get some credit, going on. But that's it, though. This is not something to be taken seriously. It's not real boxing. It's just not. Man, my man, Mr. 76 said, DAZN has one good fight every blue moon. Waste of money unless you like rounders, snooker, and darts. They're trash. Much love in that super chat. Yeah, dog, I don't even... DAZN is like, it's just a waste of money. And the fights that they put on are trash. Like, really trash, man. Really, really, really trash. But, people want to keep on with it. People want to keep on with it, And they're going to do what they're going to do, man. I don't like it getting in the way of boxing matches, though. Like, there's got to be some good, I would just like to have good fights every weekend. You don't got to have super mega fights every weekend, but just to have good fights, a good solid fight card every weekend, every other weekend would really be great. And I think there's enough fighters out there to be able to do it. Man, Fannon, that term turncoat comes from a troll. Yeah, because, now you're not hating on Terence Crawford. I never hate on Terence Crawford. I'm always telling you what I think about a circumstance, and I'm telling you what I think about it. Sometimes it's going to be favorable to a fighter, and sometimes it's going to be unfavorable. The problem with me is this: what you trolls. You don't know which way to get me because I'm not going to give you a canned answer. I'm not going to say everything is rosy and everything is rosy for a particular fighter and just say, yeah, everything's great with that fighter, and never say any. And when there's a circumstance where things may be a little more questionable, then I'm not going to come out and say, I don't know about that. Perfect case in point is Errol Spence Jr. I support Errol Spence Jr. as much as I possibly can because I like Errol Spence Jr. I think he's a really nice guy. I think that he's one of the fighters in boxing that is always trying to fight the best competition. But in the case with him not wanting to fight Keith Thurman, I don't agree with it, and I'm going to say I don't agree with it. That doesn't mean that I'm hating on Terence Crawford. I mean, I'm hating on Errol Spence. You guys are either ass kisses or you're hate. I mean, you're either ass kissing or you're hating. You know, like Manny, like that's my problem with the Manny Pacquiao fans. You guys think that Manny Pacquiao's shit don't stink. And Manny Pacquiao's shit stinks like everybody else's shit. It just does. He's not a perfect fighter. And you should know this, seeing as the fact that this guy has lost 8 fights during his career. He's not the greatest fighter to ever fight. He's your favorite fighter. You guys keep turning your favorite fighter into he's the greatest ever. He's the greatest fighter for you ever. Okay, I can grant you that. When you look at what you think is important and what you think and the fights that you have watched, you know, you excuse every loss that he has. So he can never lose in your eyes. So, okay, great. He's the greatest fighter ever for you. That's fine. I accept that, but he's not the greatest fighter for objective observers. For an objective observer, he may be the second fight, the third best fighter of this century. And I'm saying I think he's about the third best fighter. Third. Behind Floyd Mayweather Jr. and behind Andre Ward. But, you know, Andre Ward doesn't have, you know, he doesn't have the accolades. He doesn't have the praise behind him for people to seriously look and say, come on, seriously, who's a better fighter, Andre Ward or Manny Pacquiao? They inundate you with Manny Pacquiao so much that you wouldn't even think for a second, hold on. Floyd Mayweather Jr. isn't the only guy that went his whole career with being undefeated this century. Another one was Andre Ward, and Andre Ward was fighting he fought a bunch of good fighters. He fought the best competition that he could at 168. He fought the best competition he could at 175. He's an Olympic gold medalist. He didn't lose a fight after the age of 12. He was an ultimate technician. You know, he was a gentleman in the ring. He was really rough, tough fighter. But nobody talks about Andre Ward like he's an all-time great fighter. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, they give more publicity to guys like Canelo Alvarez and guys like Gennady Golovkin, who I do not think are on the level of Andre Ward. You know, but, you know, but if Andre Ward, you know, wasn't, you know, it was on something that I thought wasn't right, I would say it about Andre Ward too, which is, you know, stuff outside the ring, really not stuff inside the ring. You know what I mean? Said, this reminds me of the Brian Williams interview with Mayweather. Exactly. Floyd can't be in the GOAT conference. Yes, he can. Absolutely he can, man. Look, the fact that he didn't, there's only 2 people, maybe 3 people that he fought that I think he should have fought. That's it. He should have fought Paul Williams. I would like to have seen him fight Paul Williams. I'd like to have seen him fight Shawn Porter. I'd like to see him fight Keith Thurman. Other than that, Floyd Mayweather Jr. fought a lot of very, very good fighters. He fought Miguel Cotto. He fought Shane Mosley. He fought Oscar De La Hoya. He fought Diego Corrales. He fought Jose Luis Castillo. He fought Zab Judah. I mean, shoot, he even fought DeMarcus Chop Chop Corley. You know what I mean? And Chop Chop Corley was not necessarily an easy fight for Floyd. That was an awkward fight for him, that Southpaw DeMarcus Chop Chop Corley. So there was, I mean, Floyd gave shots to people that he didn't have to give shots to, like his last fight against Andre Berto. I mean, I think Floyd beat the piss out of Gotti. I mean, Floyd is definitely in the greatest of this century conversation. As far as being one of the greatest fighters of all time, you know, I don't know what you want me to tell. I don't know what you want me to say. Yeah, he fought Ricky Hatton when Ricky Hatton was undefeated. I mean, seriously, man. Look, just because I have some criticisms of Floyd Mayweather Jr., and especially when you do it in comparison with other fighters, that doesn't mean I'm going to shit on the man's whole career. The man had an excellent career, man. He's a top-notch fighter who really does deserve to be commended. Same thing with Terence Crawford, dude. It's not like Terence Crawford hasn't had an excellent career. I understand where Terence Crawford is coming from when Terence Crawford is saying, look, man, I've already made it to the Hall of Fame. I don't need Errol Spence. I could get why he would say that he made it to the Hall of Fame, because he was a 3-division champion. He was the best guy at lightweight. He was the best guy at 140 pounds. He went out of his way to make that Julius Ndungo fight and went out of his way to spit money out of his pocket to get that done. You know, it wasn't his fault that Julius Ndungo couldn't take a body shot. Julius Ndungo won the 2 belts that he had. He won those belts that he had legitimately. So he deserves credit for that, you know? But when you bring things up when you talk about things in a vacuum, you know, you may get an opinion that goes this way or that way, you know? Yeah, and Canelo, he beat Canelo. Canelo was not an easy fight. He was not an easy fight for Floyd Mayweather Jr. Canelo was a really good fighter at the time, and Floyd took the chance, man. Floyd's not too far off of like an Oscar De La Hoya, because Oscar De La Hoya for sure, dog. I'm telling you, Oscar De La Hoya fought everybody. You know what I mean? Oscar De La Hoya needs to be commended for his career, even though he lost. That's another great fighter, man. And I believe in calling all these guys great fighters once they show that they deserve it, because they've been fighting the best. But we're not having guys like Oscar De La Hoya right now. And I feel guilty, because I used to talk bad about Oscar De La Hoya and wanted Oscar De La Hoya to lose all the time, because I didn't like how Oscar De La Hoya would do all that shine, you know, like he would do all that shoe shining and get those knockouts. But I'll be damned if he didn't fight the best guys out there, dude. I knew for certain that this guy was real when he fought Bernard Hopkins. Because when he fought Bernard Hopkins, I was like, there ain't no way that he's about to beat Bernard Hopkins. So he has got to be a warrior to take that fight. And he did it, you know. Bronner beats nobody top 5 from 140 and up. Now, Bronner's done, but I would like to see Bronner get easy fights. I would like to see Bronner get some easy fights, man. How about some easy fights for Bronner? Freddie Jimenez said, hey, Fannon, so you think Mayweather Jr. has had quality fights? Yeah, he had a lot of quality fights. You got to break quality. He had most of his quality fights before he got to 147. You got to understand, 90% of Floyd Mayweather Jr. fans are bandwagon fans. I say 90% of them are bandwagon fans. They were not fans of Floyd Mayweather Jr. when Floyd Mayweather Jr. was Pretty Boy Floyd, when he was fighting on ESPN, when he was fighting on HBO, when they were putting him on undercards and all that. People were not behind Floyd Mayweather Jr. when Floyd Mayweather Jr. was taking his tough fights. So a lot of the fights that were tough, people just don't know the names of the fighters. Like Diego Corrales right now, his name does not hold the weight that Diego Corrales' name held when Floyd Mayweather fought him. In the eyes of a lot of people, man, Floyd Mayweather Jr. was an underdog to Diego Corrales. He was an underdog. He didn't fight Diego Corrales when people thought, you know, were like, oh yeah, Diego Corrales is almost 6 feet tall. 6 feet tall. He had knocked out Roberto Garcia. He was, I can't remember what belt he was, and I do believe he moved up from 126 to 130 to get that fight, because I think Floyd was at 126 for a minute. But regardless, when that first big matchup started for him, that was Diego Corrales, and Diego Corrales was somebody that was banging people out of there, man. And so I know he had a lot of really, really good fights, man. He had a lot of really good fights, man, early on in his career, and he had good fights the Oscar De La Hoya fight. A lot of people thought he was going to lose the Oscar De La Hoya fight. Now, because he won the fight and people know how good he was, you know, we can have like a little bit of revisionist history on what he was doing early on. But no, he was fighting top-notch competition. He didn't have a choice, because Top Rank was putting him in there and matching him tough, right? They weren't giving him cherry-pick easy fights in his career. And I don't really think he cherry-picked, like, obviously the major cherry-pick is what he's doing after his career was over. Fighting, you know, instead of fighting real fights, cherry-picking that massive payday against Conor McGregor. But, you know, the times are over for that one. You know what I mean? Midwest Boxing in that super chat, man. Said a good TV fight, Pretty Boy versus Angel Man Freddy. Yeah, man. And there's a lot of people that thought Angel Man Freddy was going to win that fight. They thought Angel Man Freddy was going to win that fight, man. Hey, man, hit that. We got 390 people in the building. Let's get the likes up over to 350 at least, if you wouldn't mind. That was smart business. But I'm sick of smart business. Smart business is short business. You know what I mean? I don't even care, man. I just want to see the best fights. You know what I'm saying? Said, don't forget Nazim Hamed, Kasazu, and Asalina Freitas all ran away from Floyd. Yeah, Nazim Hamed was too small. And he got beat up. Kasazu retired after he got beat up by Ricky Hatton. And Asalina Freitas, I think Asalina Freitas was on Showtime at the time, and I can't remember who it was that who Asalino Freitas got beat by. He might have got beat by, what's that Cuban fighter, man? Really good Cuban fighter whose name is skipping me, man. Joel Casamayor. I think he might have lost to Casamayor, man. You know what I mean? But anyway, look, man, it's been a great live stream today. Make sure you guys come back tomorrow, man. We'll do it again. Much love to everybody in the chat, everybody in the super chat. But with that, I'm going to check you guys out tomorrow. Peace.